Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. You know, when you put bigger tires on your machine, whether it be a RZR or any other kind of UTV you might have, you're affecting the gearing basically. If you put a bigger tire on it, you've affected the way it's going to operate. Your clutch engagement's going to be different, your transmission's going to operate a little different, you're going to be putting more of a strain on your drive components, your drive belt. And there's not really too much you can do. You can't go in and change the gearing in your diffs, but one thing you can do is change your clutching. You can put a clutch kit in. So we got a clutch kit from SLP, Starting Line Products, for the primary and the secondary clutch. We're going to install those today. We're going to show you how to do it. I put bigger tires on and I definitely notice a difference in my clutching. You know, if I want to just creep along, climb some hills, I can start to smell that belt burn, and I don't like that because it's just the engagement's not there, it's not right. So I'm going to change all that up. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. First thing we got to do is get this clutch housing cover off. Now I sealed this up pretty good because I do a lot of water crossings and silly stuff in the water. So I'm hoping it'll come out fairly easily. Nice and clean. There we go. I'm just going to pop my belt off here to pull it over the sheet. It's pretty easy to do. Now's a good time to check the belt. This one looks great. I only have 500 miles on it. Make sure there are no washers stuck on the back here, maybe shims. You don't want them to fall off on the floor. You don't know where they go, but it's got to be put back exactly the way it came out. SLP supplied us with everything we need to do the job, including this puller. Slip the puller in there. There we go. I'm going to use that. Watch this. I'm finding that I can't get in here enough to give it a good whack on that clutch puller. I'm just pulling the shock right out. You're kidding me. It just popped right off so easy. That's hilarious. Awesome. It's nice when you have the proper tools to do this. And when you're changing out all this hardware, you actually need the proper tools to do this. There we go. So you've got 4 screws holding this helix on. We're going to be changing that out. You got to take those out. Now, be pretty darn careful with these because they strip out pretty easy. So you can heat them up with a torch and it's going to break that Loctite that's in there. You're going to want to do that. Get those out gently. I just used the clutch holding tool here. Sort of held everything in place while I could unscrew those very gingerly. That'll give me access to popping out this helix here. So that's the old stock helix that came with it. We're going to be changing that, and we got to get in here now and get that spring out. If we have to get that spring out, you're going to need this clutch compression tool. It's just going to take the pressure off the spring so you can get that little circlip out. You're going to see an alignment mark on here, little white line. If that's not on there, make sure you mark it yourself. What that indicates is a little marking in here. It's an alignment mark to put this back on in the correct same place. Pop out our old spring, put in the new spring. There. Use your handy little tool. There we go. There we go. It's almost easier if you have a second set of hands around, just to help Mickey Mouse things around so you can get them in. When you're installing this, you're going to see some alignment marks. There are two axes. There's one on here and then one on the secondary clutch sheave, so you want to make sure that you line those up. Then just use some blue thread locker, tighten up those little countersunk screws again. You want to make sure you use that thread locker or they'll come out on you. So that's our secondary done. Now we'll do our primary. Before you do anything, you've got to mark each part and component of this primary clutch. You want to make sure that everything's aligned when you put it all back together. Let's do this here. There's an X on this top plate, and that more or less is a good starting point for you. Pull out your spring. But what we need to get to are the weights. Take out these little washers. These are little nylon type washers. Make sure you don't lose these. They need to go back into position. And when you order the kit from SLP, you're going to specify what you're going to be doing with it, what altitude, what kind of tires you're going to be running, if you're running in the mud or sand dunes, or maybe you just want to do some hot dogging and run real fast. SLP will set you up with what it is you need. It's all specified in the instruction manual of how to put all this stuff together. So you're going to take your old weights out. You're going to inspect your pins, make sure nothing's worn on there. This machine's pretty new, so I don't expect there to be any issues with that. And this is the kit you're going to get with the rooster weights in it. Now if I look at my instructions, it's going to tell me what size of little weighted screws I use with the nuts, with the washers. And this one here tells me clutching for my razor, 0 to 4,500 feet, that's me. Gold black spring. Gold black spring, put that there. And what it's going to tell me is in the outer hole, a green 2.5 gram weight. Plus 2 washers, 2 gram washers. Right. Middle hole's a green, plus 2, oh sorry, 0.5 gram washers. And the inner hole is going to be an aluminum with 2 0.5 gram washers. There we go. SLP supplies the Loctite you need. we go. The inner hole right here was on the inside. Bit of difference between these two weights, the shape of them and the actual weight themselves. A lot of time and effort goes into the development and research that it takes to get these things to work in your machine. I know personally I wouldn't want to do it, but thankfully they do it for us. There we go. That's it. Now we're just going to put our top cover back on, make sure it's aligned with everything else, and then it goes back on the razor. One important thing to note as well, when you take this top cover off, don't take the bolts out of it. Leave them exactly where they were. All these tools that I'm using here are available from SLP. That's where I got everything here. So my little washers are in there. I've got that new spring in, got my new weights in. The beauty with this whole kit is that you can actually adjust it yourself. If you're out there, you're finding that you're not quite getting the engagement, maybe the top RPM that you want, you just go in, adjust your weights, off to the races again. All right, let's get this on. I'm going to use this new Ultimax belt that I have. They sent this to me. So that's going to go on. And when you put the belt on, make sure that you can actually read the writing on there. You don't want to flip backwards. If you flip it backwards, you're going to probably have these cords unwind on you and wrap around your clutches and create all kinds of damage, rip a seal out or something like that. So whether it's a Carlisle Ultimax belt or it's the stock belt, make sure you can always read the writing when it goes on. There we go. So the secondary bolt, make sure you always put some Loctite on it. Some thread locker of some sort. This is 96 foot-pounds on the primary, and the secondary is 40 foot-pounds, and you're going to want to torque it to those values. So this is where this tool really shines, this clutch holder, right? It's going to allow you to torque this up to the proper value. Go. That's it. Well, that's it. Everything installed. Both kits, primary, secondary kits installed. I can't wait to try these out, especially with these tires. I'm running these big Gorilla Silverbacks, and I really noticed with the stock settings that I needed to change things up. And SLP helped me out. I can't wait to try it. I'm going to report back to you guys. We're going to go out and tear up some mud and see how this works. I just have to put this back together, seal everything back up, throw it all back on, and we're good to go. Make sure you check us out on Facebook. Check out SLP, Starting Line Products, or any one of their authorized dealers when you want to buy these kits and all the proper tools you need to tear your clutches apart and do all this work yourself. This isn't something that you need to bring to a dealer or some shop to have a guy do. You can do this yourself. It's not that hard to do. On a difficulty scale of 1 to 5, I'd put this at about a 3. So thanks for watching. We'll see you again.